Now you've heard all the real estate gurus, the sky is falling, look out, it's crashing, ah! So I got a question for you. Where are all the foreclosures that they keep telling us about for the last 3 years? Really? Where are all the 50% off deals? Where are all the affordable houses? What's going on? Look, mortgage rates have gone up, and now they're telling us they're going to go up even higher. This runaway inflation is nuts. It's crazy. And it's still affecting us all every single day. So, why haven't home prices crashed yet? You got to look at the broader economic trends and the stuff that no one else is looking at to figure out what's really going on here. And this is why I'm doing this video, to educate the public. But if this is your first time here, welcome aboard. This is the real estate channel that's all about helping you to avoid those pitfalls that are costly. So give me a thumbs up if you're good with that. Now, for years, you and I have been lied to. And I'm not talking about Bigfoot, mermaids, or the Loch Ness Monster. I want to give you the 7 reasons why home prices have not crashed, and here they are in descending order. Number 7, baby boomers. Now, what does that have to do with anything? I'm going to tell you. This is a massive retirement of the population that will all be over the age of 65 by the year 2030. And many of them worked, saved, and invested their entire life. And many are flush with cash now and retiring all at the same time. It's happening. Nothing's going to stop this. It's not the economy, it's their time. So the question I have for you is, what's on the cover of every retirement brochure? It's the beach, it's the ocean. It's like they've been programmed and they gotta go. Now, many are moving to warmer weather, lower taxes, and a better lifestyle. This leads us to number 6. So why haven't home prices crashed yet? Well, if you already have a low rate mortgage, you've got a low incentive to sell. You know, during the pandemic and right after, investors and homeowners, they all started to buy up new homes. And they also bought rental properties, second homes, vacation rentals, and some just left their property empty. Now currently, 62% of all mortgage holders in the nation are locked into historic, incredibly low mortgage rates, which has led up to a severe drop in the number of houses that are being put up for sale, which leads to the problem of supply and demand. So whenever there's a low supply and a high demand, prices go up. But the number of houses coming up for sale continues to shrink, because many will not be giving up that cheap mortgage that they're locked into for 30 years and then trade it in for a 7% mortgage. That just doesn't make sense, right? So they're not putting that house up for sale, and this is not a normal real estate market, which creates a major pipeline clog. Now, even with the talk of recession and housing prices, many areas of the country are not dropping like a rock because buyers have so few options that are coming to market. For example, I'm willing to bet, for the most part, if you were looking for a cheap home or an affordable home in your area where you live, it would still be super hard to find that property. This continuous, ridiculous inflation is still way out of control. No matter what they tell you, it's happening. Number 5, home prices have skyrocketed, yet some people are being completely priced out of the market. And many thought they were being smart and they'd stay out of the market and rent for a while, which kind of makes sense. But they were waiting for it to crash before buying. And many of you have written me and told me that you're horrified to find out that it's not just prices, but it's the interest rates, along with affordability, that's keeping you out. Now, you must keep a few things in mind if you're looking to buy a house into the future. Over the next few years, you must have a long-term plan, and I'm going to go into that in a minute. But even if you win the lottery, that doesn't mean that you can buy your dream home. But at the very same time, number 4, we're in uncharted waters right now with the supply and demand issues, and things are just not right. Now, you look at the number of new homes that were built during the last 10 years, it's slowed dramatically compared to the number of new affordable homes that are needed. But the number between 2012 and 2022 is 15.6 million households were formed. But during that same period, 11.9 million housing units were completed. Do you see a problem here? We're short, big time. Now pull out your shiny crystal ball in 95-degree weather, and you'll see it's not a good sign for future buyers, because a lot of people who are looking to buy, we don't see any inventory in their price range, and this creates a major pipeline clog. And this is not going to change anytime soon. Now, it's the game of musical chairs where everybody's smiling and laughing until the music stops. And then everybody needs to take a seat. And then someone's sitting comfortably while others are left standing. The problem, the housing market in the United States is short 6.5 million homes. Now, let's look at another number. Considering only single-family homes, the current rate of housing starts that are happening right now would need to triple the number of new homes that are being built for the next 5 years. every single year just to keep up with the population demand. Triple the current construction rates, guys. Now tell me, do you have new construction going on where you are? Comment below. Let me know what those new home price points are. We are in uncharted waters with high prices, high interest rates. Everybody needs a place to call home. But the demand and the need, it's still happening. There's an imbalance between the number of houses for sale and the number of people who are actually want to buy one. Now that demand, it's not going to change. Until we have a surplus of that supply, it's not going to change. It's going to take 10 years of building before we even catch up to have enough houses built to reach the amount of demand that we're talking about. Number 3, it's the month supply of inventory. Now, this is the number of months that it would take for all of the current inventory to sell. So in other words, let's say that there's 100 homes for sale on the market and 20 homes actually sell per month. That would mean there's a 5-month supply. So the absorption rate is a 5-month supply to sales. So just to put things in perspective, when you have 6 months of inventory or more of the market, this is considered to be a buyer's market, and this is when buyers have the advantage to purchase a home. On the other hand, in a seller's market, it's where there's 6 months of inventory or less that's on the market. But here's where it really gets interesting, guys. Supply has actually been declining. What? Yeah, they keep telling us we're in a recession, but the facts, here's the numbers. Now last year we had a new home inventory of 8.3 months of supply, and now we currently have just 6.7 months. More inventory is selling. But the demand for a house is still there, and much of that demand is happening in the southern part of the United States. However, there is a glitch in the matrix. It's a big lie that they've been telling both you and I, because here's the truth, and here's the numbers. As a nation, not new builds, but total housing inventory, we have only 2.9 months of inventory in the United States. And in some areas, you still have a hard time to even find a good house because someone else scoops it up. Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, all these southern states currently have a super active real estate market. And the problem is, until inventory is replenished to keep up with that demand, and until we can actually get a surplus of homes on the market, there's probably going to be continued price increases. Now, according to the National Association of Realtors, there's some good news for buyers because national median existing home prices nationally fell 1.7% from a year ago, but it still doesn't feel like a crash. Number 2, prices. Now here's some more numbers that are super interesting, guys. Depending on where you live in the nation, real estate is hyper-local. So where you live is going to determine the prices are either falling or they're actually increasing. Now on the West Coast, we're seeing some prices plunge by as much as 10%. On the other hand, here on the East Coast, we've seen prices increase. Yep. Buffalo, New York, 8.3% rise. And in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, prices were up 10.6% compared to last year. Miami home prices were up 13.9%. It's happening. On the other hand, in places like Florida, crazy homeowners insurance crises, it's happening. With sky-high insurance going even higher, all the storms, the floods, the insurance companies are actually pulling out of Florida. And many are saying moving to Florida is no longer affordable. So why aren't we seeing 50% off prices? Now that's because, number 1, there is one tool that positions us to see patterns that we might not see otherwise, that are invisible in the present. You want to know what that tool is? It's called history. And there are 2 very important historical events that happened in real estate history. A, in 1979, inflation was absolutely out of control. But even with a recession, home prices actually shot up in the US during that recession. Now, here are the numbers. From 1970 to 1982, the median American home price appreciated by 159% with a crappy economy. The second part of that is B. Okay, so even though they tell us that it must be 2008 all over again, sure, we know better than that. Subprime mortgage meltdown was caused by a lot of shady loaning practices, and banks can't do that today. In 2007, banks would give out mortgages to people who were at risk of not even being able to pay back that mortgage. Now, back in 2007, the average credit score of a subprime borrower was 620. So lower credit scores are supposed to be likely indicator of a default of that loan, right? But lenders, they were greedy. They did it anyway. But the days of no money down, handing out mortgages with low credit or marginal income, banks got their hands slapped, and all that stuff ended in 2008. However, many of you have written me and you told me that you're currently renting and you're finding it hard because you're not qualifying for your first home and you feel like you're being priced out of the market. And you could be right. because this runaway inflation is making everything more expensive, and buying a home is getting further out of reach for some. Today, there's stricter regulations on banks where banks are going to do a background check on all loan holders, their finances, their income, their job stability. And for the last 15 years, credit score has to be higher in order to be even qualified for a loan. For the last 15 years, banks were only lending to people who could meet those higher requirements. So in that way, it ensures that they can pay back that loan. Today, 768 is the median credit score for those who are taking out a mortgage. So most people who bought a house in the most recent years have been super qualified and low risk of default. And they may even put a big chunk of money down so they have a nice piece of equity in their homes. So why are we not seeing the housing market crash? Sure, we are seeing some overpriced homes and they're taking price reductions, and they should. But nowhere in the market is there any buy one, get one 50% off sale. I haven't seen it, have you? Tell me what's going on in your area. I'm curious to see what you're seeing in your area. And I can tell you one thing, here we're still finding some hidden gems for our clients if you know where to look and what to look for. Was any of this information helpful? You know, I'm making these videos for you. So if you have questions, we have answers. My real estate team is here to help you avoid the pitfalls that are costly. So pick up the phone and give us a call at 843-839-9870. We'll talk soon. And if you subscribed, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.